My father wasn't a bad man. He was a sick one. It took me 30 years to understand the difference. Growing up, I thought every family was like ours. Secrets, silence, empty pockets, a father who disappeared on Fridays. I was 12 before I learned the word for what my father was. I was 30 before I stopped being ashamed of it. My earliest memory of my father is him counting money at the kitchen table, always counting, never enough. He was a good father on Mondays, funny on Tuesdays. By Thursday, something would shift. By Friday, he was gone. Gone didn't mean physically gone. It meant he was there, but not present. His eyes were somewhere else, always somewhere else. My mother worked 2 jobs. She never told us why. I figured it out at 14 when I found the debt letters in the drawer. We weren't poor. We just never had money. There's a difference. Money came in. Money disappeared. Birthday presents were unpredictable. Some years, everything I wanted. Other years, nothing. I learned not to expect. I remember lying to friends about why I couldn't come to their birthday parties, couldn't afford the gift. I became very good at reading the atmosphere of a house. I always knew before I walked in the door. Shoes by the door meant he was home. Quiet meant he'd lost. Music meant he'd won. Silence meant we didn't speak. On good nights when he won, he was the best father in the world. Generous, funny, full of life. Those nights were almost worse because I'd feel hope, and hope in that house was dangerous. And hope, and hope. When I was 9, the electricity was cut off for 3 days. My father said it was the company's mistake. My mother said nothing. I did my homework by candlelight and told my teacher the power was out due to a storm. The weather that week was perfect. I became an excellent liar, not because I wanted to be, because I had to protect my father's secret. Children of addicts are the best secret keepers in the world. We're trained from birth. My sister cried. My brother fought back. I went quiet. We all chose different ways to survive the same house. I stopped inviting friends over. Our house wasn't safe to bring outsiders into, too unpredictable. Once a friend came over without warning. My father was in a bad state. I made up a reason to leave immediately. I walked him to the end of the street, laughed about something, and then went home and sat in my room for 2 hours. My mother tried to leave him once. I was 11. We were packed, bags by the door. My father came home. He cried. He promised. He always promised so well. We unpacked the bags. It was back to normal within a week, until it wasn't. By the time I was 13, I'd stopped hoping my father would change. That was the saddest day of my childhood. Adults think children don't understand, but children understand everything. They just don't have words for it yet. I understood that my father loved gambling more than he loved us. I understood that before I understood what gambling was. At 15, I got a part-time job. The money went to the household, not university savings, not my future. Bills. My father borrowed money from me once. He said he'd pay it back. He never mentioned it again. I never asked for it back. That's what children of addicts do. We protect everyone except ourselves. I watched my father lie to my mother's face every single week, and I watched her choose to believe him. I used to think she was weak. I understand now that she was surviving, just like us. The night my father hit rock bottom, I was 17. He came home and sat in the kitchen and said nothing for 6 hours. I made him tea. He didn't drink it. I sat across from him and we didn't speak. That was the most honest moment we ever had. Two people at a table. All the pretending gone. He checked into a program 2 weeks later. He lasted 11 days before he left. I left home at 18. The morning of my 18th birthday, I had one bag. I thought leaving would fix me. I thought distance was the same as healing. I was hyper-vigilant for years, always waiting for something to go wrong, always preparing for disaster. I didn't trust anyone with money, not banks, not partners, not myself. My first relationship ended because she said I was emotionally unavailable. She was right. I didn't know how to not be. I went to therapy at 26. The therapist asked about my childhood. I talked for 50 minutes and didn't stop. She said, "You spent your whole childhood managing a crisis. Of course you don't know how to rest." I cried in that room for the first time since I was 9. I didn't know I had that much still inside me. My father called me when I was 29. He'd been sober for 2 years. He wanted to talk. We met for coffee. He looked old. He apologized. He cried. I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't forgive him that day. I told him that honestly. He nodded. He said, "That was fair." I forgave him at 32. Not for him, for me. The weight of it was mine to carry, not his. My father is still sober. We talk on the phone on Sundays. It's not what I wanted growing up, but it's something. If you grew up in a house like mine, I want you to know that what happened to you was not normal, and it was not your fault. You learned skills no child should have to learn: how to read a room, how to manage chaos, how to disappear quietly. Those skills kept you alive in that house, but you're allowed to put them down now. You're allowed to rest. My father was a sick man, not a bad one, and I was a child who deserved better. Both things are true. They were always both true.